Okay, you're recording.
Okay, want to thank everybody for being here this evening. Let's start off with roll call, please, Tom.
First, if you're not a member of the committee, would you please sign in at the door? Cannon. Here. Eisenbrown.
Here.
Larry. Here. B. Richardson. Here. Snodgrass, not, Steel Smith.
Here.
Maddie.
Yes.
Ridge.
Here.
All righty. Did everybody get a chance to take a look at the minutes from our last meeting?
It had a couple
ahead.
things. I think, Tom, the date that it's held on May 2nd, it said April 18th at the top.
Did I forget to change that?
And then it, for me, I was here, I was not.
For now.
That's like third line down.
I was on Zoom.
Everything else, it's all look good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other corrections?
Right,
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes as corrected?
So moved.
Second.
Second motion, second all in favor.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All righty. Go to Holly.
Great.
Before we start talking about these additional areas that we may look at overlays at, would it be okay if I give you a couple updates on some conversations I've had? All right, so first of all, at the last meeting, you had asked me to reach out to Galena, so those conversations have started. I think the exact thing I was supposed to ask about was densities. The engineer was pretty much open to anything.
He felt like engineering
Wise, they could make whatever density work that the communities wanted. He did mention annexation is typically the way that the village goes. And I said, well, we would like to have conversations about new community authorities and other intergovernmental agreements that may help revenue sharing and cooperation between the two communities. He said he certainly understands that and he would talk to the mayor and get back to me. I have not heard back on that. So that's where that stands.
Did you get a feel that they lean pretty hard on the annex?
I felt like from him that, yes, it has been. Now, I've talked to the mayor directly before and I've gotten different feedback from her. So I don't know.
Target number 3.
Yes. So that's my update number 1. My update number 2 is that Monica Connors from Delaware County Economic Development reached out to make sure that we were aware of the AEP line that was going in. I told her yes, that we have had some, conversations directly with AEP, and then also Molly went to the open house that was held a couple weeks ago. So I just wanted to be aware that there's communications happening between Delaware County and us on different things. And then the third update that I wanted to give you is that DLZ Engineering asked George and me to go today to a Licking County infrastructure update meeting. So we attended that today. It was from 11 to 2 and they had different speakers that came in. What I thought was most interesting for this group is that the ODOT came in and spoke on a 20-minute group that they're having for infrastructure, and they have run several different analysis. And one of the maps they threw up, and I didn't have a chance to take a picture of it before he went on, but we're going to get the link so I can share it with you later. But one of the slides was where they think housing is going to take place. And sure enough, it coincides with our maps here. So yeah, but I thought that was interesting.
Cool.
So
Holly, that was GLB engineering.
D is in dog, LZ. We do a lot of work with them. I've partnered with them on a couple different projects. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
yeah. So with that, I'm gonna share my screen. Do you want me to share what I have first, Jim? Okay,
Well, yeah, they can. As we talk, this was my first stab at this for the East County Line overlay. So, and then Holly's been working on it also. So as we go, you guys are more than welcome to draw on this, write on it. Whatever, so that way you can follow along and you know, comment what you think. That's what this is for. So, and then she's been working on it also, and it's sort of interesting. I just talked to her briefly. We're really close. We never talked about it, but we're really close. So that's cool.
yeah.
So,
So the first one, I'm starting farther up to the north where 37 is. So this line right here is 37. This is County Line Road going north and south here. When we took a look at this land, both Molly and I looked at this, and we looked at it from land ownership as far as acres, and we looked at topography. We looked at floodplain. I also looked at it from an access standpoint. And this is what I came up with for that northern area. I think just the large tracts of land lend itself more for that light industrial use. Also with the access to 37 makes it more conducive to a flex industrial type of use. If this boundary that I have here is about 435 acres roughly, I did not include all of these single lots to the south here. My reason being is that unlike Fancher that is so close to Intel, I'm not sure how much demand there would be to redevelop those there at this point in time. Not to say it wouldn't happen in the future, but I didn't put those in for now, because I think if you have this, you're still blocking, you know, from being able to annex through. What I might recommend, and I think it's actually on Jim's map, is coming and bumping over one more. And then that really gets you, you know, that blockage through that area from potential annexation. So I think we have to discuss these smaller lots here, because they would be backing up to industrial type uses as well. So that's map number 1. And then map number 2 goes all the way to the south of so it would be the north side of the existing MU that's going through the review process right now. So the MU right now comes up to right in here. Again, I didn't include these parcels. This one's more of an issue to me for not including them though, because I don't have any larger parcels just outside of it to block it. So we got to figure out what we want to do with this area here, and if we think that those would redevelop or not. So we got to think about that. I did not include these because we have the creek running through here. We have floodplain involved. Access in and out probably doesn't make a ton of sense of combining these and redeveloping in the future. So I kind of went around those. What I'm thinking down in this area, which is about 70 acres, is more similar uses to the mixed use, but targeting more of that assisted living, medical offices, not so much retail here, but more office, medical, and assisted living type stuff.
Can you explain where you're talking about, what area?
I'm sorry, yeah. Yeah, so this is Robbins Road here. And then this is County Line Road here. Yeah, we're on the east side. And then I did not do anything in the middle between this one and the one I just discussed. Molly, did you look at that area?
I did. Let me see what I got. Yeah, I looked at the middle a bit. I'm not on Zoom, but basically,
I can pull up your
okay.
thing.
There are some large parcels here, a couple things to note about it though, there's lots of streams running through lots of the large parcels, it's in the bottom right picture, it's kind of hard to see on the screen, but there's streams running through. Lots of those larger parcels, in my mind, I was thinking this wouldn't be so much. Of the industrial, or the light industrial that we were talking about, but more of the, kind of some of the mixed use that we've been talking about, less intensity and uses. This area is also broken up in the middle by lots of single family houses as well, so that's also something to keep in mind here.
I just was gonna turn on the GIS to show see the contours and then the floodplain. So I gotta go to, oh, sorry. Go out a little bit further. So in here, right?
Parcel. Just north of Center Village and then. Yeah, like this area, there's. So some large parcels there on Center Village, and then there's that line of, single family.
That didn't work. What'd I do? The heck? It's not like me doing that. Okay, never mind. I won't try to do that. So that's where the streams are.
So that triangle is Center Village Road on the south, and Montgomery Road on the north.
Correct.
Right.
And they're doing the ditch transition there.
They finished, I went by there the other day, they've
Finish it.
Yeah, they've finished it and covered over the ditches now, getting ready to work the land. But yeah, they went in and did a big project in there on water, remediation and tiling. Yeah, it was huge.
And just to the north of that. Just north of those single family houses at the very top, there's also a couple larger parcels here as well. But again, they also have streams running through them.
Yeah.
Or at least 3 or 4 of them do.
So I'm not gonna name names. But one family owns 1, 2, 3, 5 of those parcels right there.
Hmm.
And they will sell. And they would sell to industrial. They would sell to residential. But they will, and I've been in contact with them, they will sell. So I included that section as much as I could. This is my thinking. As a blocking mechanism.
Mhm.
The whole reason for the red line was the first section, then the green was the second, if we wanted to go that far out, and obviously it looks like we do. There are several big landowners. And Mike and I have been talking to some, and they will sell. They're entertaining selling, and they want the highest and best use out of their land and the price. So keep that in mind as we go forward into these larger tracts. I was keeping track of the acreage and stuff, and the small houses on Needles, right there. I went ahead and went through them because you've got the same landowner right above them and on, and I don't think those houses will be a deterrent because they can come from the north down.
Yeah. I agree with you on that one. I agree. I don't know what to do about down here though.
Yeah, I don't either. I started writing down how many acres each one of those things was, and I quit. Because I thought this is futile, because nothing's going to happen with these particular houses,
Yeah,
other than when I'm looking at all these properties, and I've got my, worksheet here. I just did it purely for blocking. We've got our mixed use right below those houses where we stopped. And by the way, that's one of the parcels that Mike's been working on with a potential developer on the first parcel down. And they've
Which one?
been, I was going to talk about that later, but
Okay.
yeah. So there again, there's people right there. And so I don't know what to do. That's where you guys come in about these houses right here because of the blocking mechanism of them.
yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it doesn't hurt to put them in the overlay district, right? Because they can continue to utilize their land.
Right.
But if none of them choose to pull down the overlay, then you're not effectively blocking it. But if you don't have the overlay there, then you're not even giving them the choice either. So I guess go ahead and put it on there. I just worry that these are not gonna sell like down on Fancher. I thought
Right. No, I don't think so either. Other than pressure from the north coming on top of them, or pressure from the south grabbing a couple of them to expand.
The good news is that they're going this way, right? Where on Fancher, you had one, and if you took one, it opened it up
Right,
for the
right.
rest. You buy one here, you gotta get this one, you gotta get that one, and then you got that one.
Right.
So they're blocked that way for you. So
Yeah,
it
well,
helps.
it's, but we still have to. I guess, do you want to keep it contiguous with our southern mixed use? In other words, we have a line coming up. And
That
then,
probably makes the
and are we
most-
going to continue that line going straight, or are we going to have a void in there?
So I think our line comes up right here, doesn't it? I got it on.
Yeah, it's the one just north of Evans, yeah.
Yeah. So right here.
Yeah.
So does it make sense just to kind of bump over to that and go up here? That's what you're saying?
Well, my green section is,
I don't have a copy of your stuff.
I
Can
did. Didn't
I
I?
didn't, you didn't leave it with me.
Oh, I'm sorry, here.
You should have it to me.
Oh, I did. Stingy. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. So you did come all the way over. I think that makes sense the way you did it, because then it's coming straight up here. The only thing I was telling Jim that I wouldn't include all these little lots here.
Yeah.
Because I think you just.
The
bumped
ones
it to
along
these.
Green Cook,
Yeah,
yeah,
I would just bring it to the back of those lots.
to the back of them.
Yep.
That's where we need crayons. Yeah, that gives us, some large parcels to block there.
And then you're thinking industrial. Both north of Montgomery, all the way up.
I'm telling you, that's a tough one. That's why we're here. It could very well hit that way, based on the activity up there, the inquiries. 37 is just freaking hot.
Yeah,
It's just hot, and you'll notice I ran across 37, included all of Harlem Township up there. And that one big landowner's got a big parcel on the other side of 37 also. Just as a blocking mechanism. But the inquiries are just constant. And they're not for homes.
Right, no, I agree.
No.
I'm thinking. How, I know we've had this conversation before, but how big of industrial are you guys willing to go for?
That's what the committee's here for.
Yep.
I think that's gonna be driven by the Route 37 corridor. That's my impression.
Yeah, because what I'm thinking is that because you have the mixed use in Center Village, right? And you have it coming down that way. I think you continue that mixed use on down Montgomery. And Center Village Road area, and when you get out towards 37, you can start maybe getting some of that smaller industrial that you talked about before.
Right.
What, you know, a smaller height. But then as you go north towards 37, I think you should increase the height and go for some bigger industrial stuff. But
To be quite honest, you're talking big industrial.
Yeah.
North up there.
I agree.
You are. There's I know, your zoning director, good title here. We had a lot of discussions because of the inquiries. And so if the landowners are willing to let it go and the businesses want to come in, what we're thinking is if we can control it a little bit, the tax base will be huge.
I know. It's gonna be good for the township.
Yeah, that would be good. And the conversations that we're having is that we want to make sure we get something from anybody that comes in, not only their business, but things for the community.
Right.
But we looked up and saw what some of this stuff is worth, what it costs to build and the money that's being spent. And just one or two of those would just, set the township up really, really good. And so, and there again, you've got landowners who are willing to do that.
Right.
So if you tell them they can't do that, then what are they gonna do?
Right.
They will go around us somehow.
Exactly.
So do you just make that section up there, a little larger industrial, drop it down to our industrial we were talking about before with the small flat buildings and that type of stuff, and then slowly work it on down as you come down.
Yes, that's my thoughts. Yes.
And there's another landowner up there that I haven't been able to talk to, but based on their history, they butt up to these other people and I think they'd sell too. So there again, you're talking generational wealth that these have been in farm families families been in the farms for years. And now the senior members are getting older. They want to do something with all the children and grandchildren involved. They don't want to leave them a mess. They want to leave it clean. And so they're under pressure, especially with the phone calls coming in to do something. And if we don't, and I don't like it as far as, 2 years ago, I'd say, but on the other hand, I'm worried they'll take the choice out of our hands.
And are you talking from Montgomery north or Needles?
I think Montgomery, between Montgomery and Needles, towards Montgomery, it's the smaller stuff. So that first row along on the north side of Montgomery
Right.
is the smaller stuff. Then as you get to that next parcel up that is like it runs east and west and has access on like kind of in the middle between Montgomery and Needles, that's where I think you start transitioning into the bigger stuff.
Yeah.
What's your definition of bigger stuff? I mean, when you say tall or bigger,
60 feet,
Huh?
60 feet in height,
you-
yeah.
and you're not talking office buildings, you're talking about warehouses and manufacturing.
Manufacturing
Yeah,
warehousing.
clean manufacturing,
Yeah.
so, you know, advanced manufacturing where they're utilizing robots to improve products, so they're not taking raw materials and making things. They have products that are already made and they're improving them through
Yeah.
robotics.
That and, some of those buildings are big as the products come, the material comes in, the product comes out, and then, they have to have shipping. That's another thing that's being, bounced around up on the 37. There is some shipping, companies on the Licking County side. And, they're looking to come over onto this side also. And there again, that's driven by demand because they need shipping companies for all that stuff that they're doing over in around Intel. And it's just,
For warehousing, you typically see more than 30 feet.
huh?
We never see it higher than 30 feet.
Warehousing? Oh, 60 feet.
Really?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. They want clear span of 60 feet.
They want clear span because of all the robotics
Yep.
and everything else that they throw in there for
Yep.
multi-levels. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a one story to them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And the smaller industrial that's 30 feet.
35 to 45. I would say when I looked at the latest sheet that Monica gave me, you're probably more at 45 feet.
Now, it doesn't mean when you have these large parcels that we can't ask for setbacks more than normal.
Exactly, right.
More setbacks, obviously, they're gonna be, water retention and water is a big deal. And, so, all that stuff is addressed, but they have enough land to do it. So it's not like they're crammed into a small spot and they said, well, we can't do this and we can't do that because we're only place.
They can sit there.
Yeah, because they need to set their building, they need to set their loading docks, that type of stuff. So there's enough land available that we can do that with them. And do it in a meaningful manner. So Holly can come up with some ideas of what you do to surround the buildings
Mhm.
in the neighborhood.
So Holly, if you were in charge of site selection for a manufacturing company or big trucking warehousing company,
Mhm.
and you look at the property on the eastern edge of the township,
Mhm.
one big benefit, it's flat.
Yep.
Two, it's got access to 37, which is gonna be huge, a lot.
Right.
More important than it is.
Yep.
Utilities, I don't see the utilities.
Yeah, that's, I've had conversations I can't really speak about right now, but I think that utilities are not too far away.
There will be. I mean, it's obvious. You can look, there's gonna be, I mean, they're not putting that line in just to go to Intel. There's gonna be drop substations off.
And but water and sewer
And
too.
water,
It's going to get there one way or another, and there are 3 different entities that I think can get there.
Well, I think when the lady from the sewer department basically said that what they're putting in can cover the entire township.
Yeah, and so, and if we actually focus up in that area, we might be able to reduce what we're seeing in the middle part of the township.
Are you saying that the township was gonna get sewage? Well, or just that northern border,
The potentially could
coming from the
cover.
west with that big trunk line, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, there's some, another one from the east side?
Basically, the Delaware County Sewer District told us the last time they were in here that they could actually service the whole township with that trunk line.
So. Just that.
Yeah, just that one.
But there is one, then there is one on the north.
Yeah,
And there's
I don't know
another one
what,
on the-
yeah, I don't know what Holly heard from the realtor Grapevine and developer Grapevine, for whatever that's worth, they're talking that New Albany line coming up, South County Line Road, there's pressure to get it going faster.
I know of another entity that
Okay.
is trying to get there too.
Okay,
So
but that's what they're telling people, so.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm gonna be widened then?
So right now, and this was part of the conversation that I went to today, that right now there are 3 safety projects, safety applications in for intersection improvements along South County Line Road. That is it right now, but the Delaware County, Licking County and Franklin County, Transportation Improvement Districts are all working together, and they've identified South County Line as a main corridor out of Intel, getting to 37 to get over to to get over to 71.
Which is exactly what you said.
Mm,
Just giving you credit.
So
Nostradamus over there.
so is
Nostradamus, yeah.
so is there a bucket of money that's paying for all of that to happen at one time? No, but there are long-term plans that are being developed right now to funnel money into that corridor to develop it over the long term. Yeah.
So they would use Clover Valley, they would use County Line, go north.
That's what they're eyeing.
Duncan Run, County Line,
37.
37.
It's out of the township.
And when they need to stay out of John, I mean, it's obvious, your trucking has got to stay out of Johnston, and it's got to stay out of Sunbury. The amount of trucking that this is gonna bring.
I think they were,
37 goes right into something.
they're gonna do a
Right
round,
now.
yeah.
Oh, okay. I hear you.
Yeah, I think the focus was always, all this industry and everything kept saying, you know, they're gonna widen 161, they're gonna do this and do that. And it's like Carl said originally, well, you know, a lot of these trucks gotta go north. We got big cities and everything north, and he's right, there's only one way to get there, and that's come up and hit 37 and bingo, across you go.
Well, and businesses don't like to only have one route in and out.
Right, right.
So what would you like us to do? Go ahead and draw some sub areas in and identify potential uses within those sub areas with maybe some building heights and setbacks?
Hmm. I would say Needles Road North.
Well, Jim, it's a different.
Yeah.
They're gonna improve County Line. From Tibbetts all the way, from 62 all the way up. Or just from Duncan Plains.
Pivots all the way. I would say 62 all the way up.
Yeah.
And there again, it goes back to that multiple routes.
Main connector between 62 and.
Yep.
Yeah, and don't forget, we talked about earlier that the New Albany company's already bought that Tibbet corner right across from us. And that was a big chunk of ground. They've already bought that. And so, yeah. My feeling is that from Needles north, it needs to be the larger industrial, and then start scaling down as we go to Montgomery.
Okay.
I think that's an excellent idea.
For west.
Huh?
But what you said before, Jim, was this block in here is also been said by the owner.
Right,
that they
but
would-
if
they
that's a
would
medium,
send
if that's a
industrial,
medium industrial, huh?
Never medium industrial base.
Yeah. Well, we're not finalized.
No, I
Is what we're doing here, but we're trying to spitball here and see what we can do.
yeah, no, I'm just looking at the sizes of blocks.
Yes, yes, and I've got them. You know, acreage written out here, guys. And those blocks that he's talking about are 50 acres, 45 acres, 46 acres. They're big chunks,
Yeah.
and they're all owned by the same people.
So does it make sense for your land use look at what's in the Johns, Ohio or the one Columbus.
Yeah,
pipeline.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned the heights, because I think it's important that we look at that and make sure.
Or to see what that's,
Yeah.
if it corresponds with what
Exactly,
they're looking
right.
for. Yeah.
Yep.
Or you make a bench.
Right.
Well, we don't have to do it per road. I mean, we could take those properties because there's a between Needles and this is just food for thought and Montgomery, those properties, there's a straight line
Well, that's
dividing those properties.
what I said. This is the line I wanted.
Yeah, where I jig jog, you just run it across there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah,
One right in the middle, one right in the middle between Needles. and-
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Get your crayons out. I have to bring them next time.
If you create a big border on County Line Road going north-south, it takes some pressure off the east-west border going through the heart of the township. That's true.
I still think Fancher is gonna get a lot of traffic because you're still gonna have people driving that to and from that work at Intel and live in Delaware County. So I think Fancher's still gonna get a lot of traffic.
Well, yesterday afternoon, I was cutting my grass there, I'm on Fancher, there were 4 guys with these rocket motorcycles that were doing at least 100 miles an hour. Fancher, at least. miles an
I
hour.
thought they only did my road.
They do it everywhere.
Oh, my God, they're fast.
It's just,
Yeah, I think what they're gonna do with this, though, it's gonna keep the semi traffic off of,
Well, I agree with that. Yes,
Center Village
Yes.
Road.
correct. yes.
And right now, Mike told me Saturday, what'd you see, 100 dump trucks?
I bet you there was, by the end of the day, I saw about 100 dump trucks.
So-
getting to Centerville.
I was driving up 37 today from Lancaster to Newark. To get to 161 to go to New York. And I've never seen so many trucks. I ran into 3 oversized loads.
Oh,
that-
geez.
And I mean, it's just everywhere right now, like,
Yeah.
because they're all taking construction stuff in and out and,
The equipment is gonna be coming in. every-
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it comes. So,
Yeah,
That's
they're
what-
trying to build a plant on the, but it's only gonna get surplus.
It's gonna be around the clock pour when they start.
well, I vote to take that intersection, that line that we just drew through there and work on the heavy industrial above that and then the light industrial down to
inclusive of green or just red
on my
on this.
Yeah.
We talked about coming over here.
yeah.
On green boundary.
Well, the green was an alternate. I think we are talking green now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you're talking over, by the time this whole thing, when we're done tonight, we're gonna be talking over 1,000 acres.
the only part of the green I don't think we should include are these small lots. Down here.
Right, we were gonna, I already
Yeah,
drew,
the line to Centerville.
yeah, we've already drawn the lines through that, Holly.
Okay.
So if you'll draw a line through that. These down here, take those lots out,
You know,
yeah.
Yeah.
So, because we got enough field behind them. But yeah, my numbers show that that's gonna be,
Down the backside.
Yeah, exactly. Mhm. Yep, yep.
Well, so group feel that that's the direction we want Holly to move.
Yes.
And there would be 2. I guess within that whole piece,
Mhm.
we could have different kind of building heights and so forth. Within it.
Were you gonna call it like a light industrial or?
well, that's the southern part.
So I would think this would be all one overlay. This would be sub area A, sub area B, sub area C.
Yes.
Yes,
And this would have mixed uses.
So
and
that's what I'm
interesting-
thinking about.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah,
so,
right.
but it's one pull down,
correct.
but with 3
Three different
sub areas.
sub-areas.
That's
Yep.
all, that's my question.
Mhm.
Good job. Yeah. I make a motion, we do what she said.
Got a motion, do we have a second?
Yeah, I second that.
Any more discussion? All in favor, aye? All opposed? There you go.
Very good. Thank you, guys.
That ought to keep you busy.
Yeah.
At least until next month.
Oh, my
Right.
goodness, that's a lot of acreage, guys. I
It
mean,
is.
that's a lot of acreage. And
Now, you know,
Robinson, Montgomery.
a question I'm gonna see coming because of this, especially once this. I'm sorry.
yeah, C is Needles North. Actually, it's in between.
Show you the map. Okay. I was just trying to.
That's fine.
Maybe see where.
Yeah, so you need to know that, that's for sure.
Mhm.
We drew the line.
Well, look,
Going north is going.
I know where we started out this conversation a year ago.
C.
But if we can do this in a manner that we can get
This is.
a couple of companies, that is how Harlem Township benefits from it,
Mhm.
right? I mean, or Intel and other stuff.
Would-
But without completely upending. the entire
Oh, absolutely.
township.
Absolutely. Well, and I'm wondering,
This part here.
just because of phone conversations I've had with the public about the AEP. If AEP knows this is where we're shooting,
That could help. Yes.
so
'Cause
we need to
we
let,
need to get
AEP
back in
we need
touch.
to let AEP know
Yep.
that this is what we're, because that would maybe move it out away from its current path that a lot of people think. I mean, I don't know what the current path is, but I've heard speculation.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
if they know that I mean, it would behoove them to put it over that way farther.
Yes.
It might benefit in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they originally reached out to us
Exactly.
and we were not that far along at that
Right.
point in time. But now this is perfect.
Yeah.
So,
You know, the other thing is, as the traffic builds, and we have no clue yet, it's gonna be huge on county line. That's not gonna be residential living that anyone's gonna wanna be part of.
Yeah, see, originally we thought
It's gonna be a
about,
thoroughfare.
yeah, so as we got into this and from. Originally I thought, well, this is gonna be. Housing for people, working over that way. And in fact, you and I even had talked about it a little bit, but it's not materializing that way at all.
I can see, I've felt along county line, it's anywhere from 4 to 5 lanes before this is all done.
yeah, I agree.
So the people that are gonna take the brunt of that is this crowd. down
Yep.
there. Right, because there's a lot of homes.
Yeah, there are a lot of homes there.
You get north of kind of this point going up, that's wide open for development, that's nature.
Also, I want to caution the committee, this is just a draft. And this isn't for public consumption.
Right.
I mean, the public's allowed to look at it, but what I don't need is somebody showing it to all their neighbors and running up and down the street.
No, that,
Well,
But-
but let me play on that a bit to say, okay, this is something we're gonna take a good hard look at, right? It's in draft form now.
Right.
And it will move forward, hopefully in some way, shape or form.
As we get it nailed down, yeah.
But should we, at least from a timing perspective, be thinking about how this should be communicated? Because I worry about some level of information going out that's not accurate, that then we're off on a whole different path that we haven't communicated
No,
with the community. And the community is already looking at things and overlays we're coming up with that, we're holding meetings on that are getting approved. I would want to make sure we're taking care to communicate at the right time so we can continue with, I think, very open communication and not let something like this that I think is really necessary now that the project has evolved,
Well,
cause people to get a poorer view of what we've been doing.
well, but if Holly can do, you're right, absolutely. What I wanted was something more, a little more concrete.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
No, absolutely. Way too premature, but I think we should be at least thinking along that path in a parallel nature when it
Right.
gets close enough, because
Right.
we all kind of agree on the direction we're going here, so hopefully it won't take too long. But if we go that far and then start to think about, okay, how do we communicate this? that's that area of time where I start to get worried.
would it be beneficial with all that's been going on and all that's happened so far? Is to maybe schedule a couple community meetings? Not necessarily the 5 like we did before. But, you know, because we have a very excellent email list. We can put it out that way. We're starting to get a decent following on our Facebook, the website. And just maybe entertain a community meeting to show you where we're at, what's going on, what, you know, what we do and can control and what we can't control.
We need to think strategically as far as 30 days.
Yes. We gotta get one in the books. I would say, one thing that I think that makes it easier for the public is when we did the southern mixed use district and it was colored in. And so this is what we're doing or proposing, and we had it shaded.
Mhm.
Eventually, I would assume that we'll get to the same thing on this.
Right,
And then it becomes easier when we're ready.
Yeah.
For the people to understand it.
Yeah, yeah.
There's just a whole lot of other updates, everything that we know now, there's timelines on the sewer, AEP's doing the line, somehow there's a lot of activity going on that, you know. We're all a part of it, we go to the meetings, we understand what's going on, but, you know, we don't have too many meetings where somebody shows up that has no idea that the sewer's even been approved, being brought into the southwest side, right? So I just think we should be thinking strategically at timing, we want to do some kind of communicating.
I think we need, if we do it, we ought to try to do 1 or 2 and have it at the church where we can have a larger group.
Do you think?
Mm.
I don't know. I mean,
I thought the smaller
the
groups
smaller
were,
groups are, I hate to use this term, more controllable, more easy to get the message and people can.
I think
relate better.
I would say they feel more comfortable.
There's more conversation.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm just concerned, are people gonna, would we get 4 or 5 meetings if that's what we try to do again? Would we have the turnout? Or are we just gonna get turnout? Because that's the big thing.
Mhm.
That's that's where I'm just wondering, if everybody already has seen and knows what's going on along Fancher. This is kind of gonna be new information.
I know, and I would wait 30 days to release.
Yes, yes.
Well, no, yeah, I agree. Well, but we aren't though. I mean, realistically.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
We're releasing it right now.
Carl,
Yes, sir.
I support the idea that Bruce and, I mean, what you're all talking about. If we don't, if you, when I say you, but really it's we, if we don't communicate that information out there, someone will fill the gap. And they're gonna fill that gap with misinformation.
Exactly.
And that's what we don't want. There's enough of that already out there. So I
Absolutely.
think it is important. And the smaller meetings, people tend to be more communicative. They receive them better.
It's true.
But at the same time, you know, you had 10 the last time, so I'm not suggesting that you have
Oh,
10
yeah.
again.
No,
Yeah.
no.
But the smaller meetings do seem to be more effective.
4 or 3 weeks or something.
Mhm.
You give
Yeah.
some-
But well, first off, this has to come together a little bit.
Right,
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's gonna take
I'm not saying
time.
doing it next
No, no.
week.
yeah.
But I agree with the smaller meetings. Something like it was easier for people who aren't involved. Not that they don't understand, for people who aren't involved every day like we are. The shaded areas was really, you know, with the roads and stuff was really easy. You walk up, you have no idea what's going on and you can see it. And then a slide presentation. I see that. I see that.
I do too.
What time frame do you feel that big industrial or logistics or whoever will be actually installing the buildings?
Well, it would take a little while to get the sewers there. I mean, I know people want, are eyeing to get the sewers there, but it would take a couple years in my mind to get to actually build it, and get it there. So I would say 2 to 5 years.
That's a-
So this group can be patient as far as.
No, we can't be patient. No, we can't be patient because it's,
The-
we have to have, because people are going to be assembling the land now in preparation of that coming. So we have to be ready to allow the zoning to happen so that when the sewers are there,
Keep the horse in front of the cart.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
We can't let it fall.
Is it gas available up in that area also? Natural gas?
Yeah, yeah. So,
And the thing is, and with my experiences and what I lived with my life as in construction. If the dollar's right, that sewer will come a lot faster.
that's correct.
It's all gonna be driven. I watched what happened on Beach Road.
right.
It doesn't take that long.
no, it doesn't.
I mean, a building can be going in while the sewer's coming that direction.
Yeah, and there's all the one Columbus pipeline that's out there. If it fits, I'd be ready
It's
for it.
not inconceivable. You say 2 to 5, I think you're right on the money.
Yes.
I think that too is from what we're hearing on communicating up in that area as they're gonna be assembling land.
Yep.
And then a new term, what was that term that they do to the land? They say,
Prepping it.
yeah, prep it. So now the new term is they're gonna come in even though they don't have the utilities. And they'll pre-prep the land so that it's shovel ready.
Yep, shovel ready, yep.
And so they could do that a year or two ahead of even starting the construction.
Correct.
And so, yeah, they're getting a jump
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually one of the incentives through One Columbus is getting it shovel ready. So when you have a shovel ready site, it's much easier to attract
Right.
through One Columbus. And then they also have programs at One Columbus that offer money to communities to help get them shovel ready.
Yeah, because this is a different ball game that I'm experiencing and we're all going to experience with industrial versus residential. These
Mhm.
guys, it's a different group of players.
Yeah.
And it's a different mindset. And so it's something we got to learn and get used to if we're going to be able to make informed decisions. And
Yeah, if we have to get educated, then when we get educated about pros and cons, then that's the stuff that can go into
Right.
whatever we decide to have in meetings, because that'll be a whole level of education that the township's never experienced before.
yes,
You know, what it
Exactly.
means, the good, the pros and cons. So I
Mhm.
think it can all fit nicely, but I just, we talked about it. We don't need to beat it to death, but I think as long as we keep that plan moving forward,
Yep.
trying to do it in parallel, I think that will work. well.
Yep,
So that would say target July.
oh, that'd be good.
how about after August 9th? Sorry, that's my own selfish reasons. I'll explain later.
Okay. But that also gives us that we're not lying, that we are prepping and we're going to have a meeting.
Right.
Yeah, so, guys, give us a chance to learn what's going on and then we're going to have a meeting.
She is online hearing this,
Oh, is she good?
but she can't feed back. I haven't seen any message. But we also, she was talking about putting out just an interim kind of to the email crowd.
Right.
Here's what's been going on, just, kind of a simple update. So, we kind of, I think everyone agreed we should do that, now. And there's no reason to not allude to, coming to a theater near you this summer. We'll be looking forward
Right.
to more community meetings.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, Molly just messaged, yes, I'm listening. She's at a T-ball game and it's loud.
I knew she had a T-ball game.
Well, you wouldn't hear you anyhow, because the PA in here is not working.
Oh, no.
Okay, so. All right. All right,
Anything else, Holly?
I'm good, thank you.
Just anything from the subcommittees, Mr. Steelsmith, other than what you already had.
Oh, yeah, there's more. There's more. Okay, guys, so in connection with what this committee has been doing, and all the parts are starting to come together. So we have Bruce's group with water and sewers. We have the communications group. We have the developer group. We have the zoning Mike, who's intercepting calls and working with us. So this is starting to work. And what's happened is, and I'm going to give you some numbers, and this is all because of communication, somebody that can answer their questions, then it evolves and we talk to them. TRCD wasn't developed by this committee. However, a lot of us got involved because of that, and we have been promoting it. Zoning has been promoting it. And at this point, we have 4 parcels in the township that are looking at PRCDs. And this isn't just, I'm going to buy the ground and think about it. This stuff is in the planning stage or has already been planned for 337 acres.
You said 337?
Then on our mixed use area, and this is where the communication really comes in, Mike gets calls. Sometimes I call him back, sometimes he talks to him, depending on who it is. We are getting people who are studying what we're doing. They're watching our video online. They know what our overlays are. They're studying it. And we now have 3 mixed use sites that they are talking about actually doing something when the sewer gets here. All right. For a total of 216 acres. Yeah, guys. And so I'm excited because I'm excited for the committee as to all this communication. And it's like Bruce's, when we talk to him, water and stormwater is towards the front of our conversations now. In other words, we're not going to let them get 3/4 of the way through the project and say, oh, by the way, you got to do something about the water. That is towards the front. We don't want to scare them, but it's towards the front. And along with everything else that goes on. And that's because we learned about it. You know.
Are you asking them if they're are going to join the JED? I mean, they have to,
Yes.
basically on the MU,
Yes.
but is that part of
Yes.
the conversation?
Yes, that is part of the conversation.
We need to start putting that together. If we're
Right.
having that much interest, we
Yes.
need to get the JED
Yes.
going.
And like I said, that's not just, oh, okay, thank you. These are repeat calls. And what do I do here? And what do I do there? And what do I do in the meantime before the sewer? We had some ingenious ideas of what they wanted to do with the land before the sewer got there. Mike shut them down. But but it's,
I'm sorry, Dave.
go
I can
ahead.
tell they have a lot of interest because, when they talk to me or they talk to Jim, we kind of bounce them back and forth. So then they'll call one day and talk to me, then the next day they'll talk to Jim. And then they go talk to realtor, the realtor's calling me. And finally we all figure out, is this the same guy? And-
Yeah.
and-
Well, there's somebody calling me today too, that didn't tell me who he was, just left his name. And when I didn't say what township he was calling about. So I called him back and it was you guys. So I can let you guys, I'll share with you Mike, Jim later, but there was a call that they sent that they contacted me directly on.
Yeah, but so, yeah, there's a lot of interest, but what I'm saying is we would never have been able over a year ago to handle this or talk to them or have the communications and also have the verbiage to, like, from Bruce's committee to talk to them as to what we need. So I just kudos to everybody. I mean, we have worked hard. Everybody's worked hard. And the communication people, I mean, it's great. It's great. And it's starting to show the fruits of our labor. And I think it's going to get busier.
Yes. So Jim, do you want to make a motion or Holly, do you need a motion from us to start working on the JED?
I would like that. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were working on it in the background.
No, we need to get going on it. You- yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody make a motion on it. Bruce,
Yeah, so I move that we get Holly moving forward with development of JED language, so we'll have it available for incoming prospects.
And do you want me to start reaching out to communities too about partnering with them?
yes.
So that we can kind of say, see who has the best.
Right, best deal. We'll go shopping.
Okay, we have a motion to, for Holly to start working on the JED and to start shopping.
I second that.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
It's exciting.
You gotta get busy. You
I
gotta
know.
It's exciting.
That, you done? Johnny go?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Or you-
Next committee.
So that was kind of a nice setup. Tom and Ed Yeager are gonna be meeting next week with Brett Bergerford, who's the deputy drainage engineer for Delaware County. And Mike Love, also from Delaware County, to further discussion just about drainage areas of interest that the committee's been working on and what we can do to work more closely with them. So I'm gonna be out of town, so Tom and Ed, who have been part of the subcommittee, can certainly very capably move that forward. So that's good news. Also, I met on transportation. I know some emails went around to the committee about what we've learned from from ODOT. I had coffee with Ron Maddox, who is, the primary person that I've been working with on roads and transportation. Actually, just the night before, I think the email came out, but it's everybody that read the email saw that a lot of work going on about a study for 37, State Route 37. Basically, one of the studies from taking it from widening Delaware to State Route 161. And a second project for 37 from 161 to I-70. They're looking to get consultants who want to perform the studies for what they would want to do, and that's all moving along pretty quickly. At least from what Ron put together, he said the completion date for both of those is 12/31/24. So that's a pretty aggressive timeline to get studies and things done. He also mentioned there's a third project that's looking to get going, which is, I think we've known about before, 161 from Kitzmiller to 16 in Granville, to get a third lane each way. So those things are all really active. I think the one thing we should take a bit of comfort in is this is what Ron does for a living. And, what the main reason I had coffee with him, wanted to understand how tight he's in. And it sounds like that virtually every meeting that goes on about transportation in the general area, he either has a hook to the meeting or he's actually there participating himself. So
That's good intel.
he's very willing and interested in continuing to represent Harlem Township and our interests and keep us informed of what's going on. So
That's good
we're
intel.
really lucky to have him. I think that's all I had for my.
Well, just real fast, and I know unfortunately Molly can't say anything. She can throw T-ball or whatever. I want to give my personal thanks to you. I mean, but I've had people ask me how, in God's name, you get a group of volunteers to do what you guys have done. And my response has just been because it's people who care about their community. It's easy. So I praise you personally, and I know the other two trustees are quite thankful, and I think the community in general ought to be very happy with what you guys are trying to do for this community. If we don't have anything else, anything from the public,
They can't really.
well, even here, public.
Holly's response to your comment was vested interest in the future of township.
There we go. There we go. There you go. Get back to the ball game. If we don't have anything else or anything from the members of the public that are here. I can't believe this. We're gonna entertain a motion.
Adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Thank you. I heard nothing.
That is a record.
This is like one of my old BZA meetings.
Oh, there you go, yeah. You have to learn how to speak Indian.
That guy.